Hey you guys, how's it going? My name's Jeff. Welcome to the channel, and if you've been here before, then welcome back. Today, I want to talk with you about Air Test Systems. It's a company, and a lot of you guys know about it or have heard about it because the stock did very well in 2023, and it's a part of the semiconductor industry universe, which has performed really well in recent years, but has hit some major stumbling blocks right here towards the end of 2023 and now into the beginning of 2024. I just want to talk with you a little bit about it because I think you can learn some things from this situation that will help you as an investor become smarter and wiser and more experienced. And hopefully you're not learning this experience through owning stock in Air Test Systems, but if you are, I could understand this is a difficult time. Comments below. I'm interested to hear, do you own this stock or do you not? I am not an owner of Air Test Systems. However, I did think strongly about buying shares in this stock at the end of last year. I just decided when push came to shove, I didn't want to own it. So again, this is not financial advice, but let's just talk a little bit about this. Now, what does Air Test Systems do? Well, what they do is they manufacture capital equipment that is used by the semiconductor industry to burn in chips, semiconductor chips, such as silicon carbide, which is used extensively in electric vehicles. So electric vehicle manufacturers buy semiconductor chips, and one of the companies they buy from is ON Semiconductor. ON Semiconductor buys capital equipment from Air Test Systems. So what's happened is companies like Tesla and other EV manufacturers have said, hey, we're not going to be buying as many chips from you guys right now because consumer demand has weakened. So what happens is ON Semiconductor is not going to be selling as many chips, and they're not going to need as much equipment from Air Test Systems. So what happened is Air Test Systems stock was really high last year. It was up beyond $50 a share. People were seeing this, I think, as a way to get rich quick, buying this stock, and it just kept going up and up and up, and they were getting richer and richer. And it was hard to see that this party might end. People just kept putting money into the stock, bidding it higher and higher. In my opinion, the stock for Air Test Systems got way too expensive. It was selling at 40 times PE, 50 times, and then 60 times. And that's a very high price to earnings ratio for a cyclical stock, something in the semiconductor industry. And so what happened was last year ON Semiconductor warned its investors and Wall Street that it looked like they were not going to be selling as many of their silicon carbide chips coming into 2024. And so people kind of had this heads up, and they were aware, I think investors in ON Semiconductor, that this would mean they wouldn't be making as much money. And the share price of ON came down a bit back in, I think it was late October. And, Air Test Systems did not fall dramatically, although it did come down quite a bit. But what happened was, it was in the start of 2024 that Air Test Systems really got slammed. They came out with an announcement that instead of 50% revenue growth going forward, it might be more like 30% growth, which is still a very high number, but investors were expecting up here growth, and it just came down to here, and there's been a massive sell-off in Air Test Systems stock. So a couple lessons here. First, you have to realize whenever you're investing in small cap stocks, there's going to be a lot of potential volatility. And some people can handle that, and that's fine. And some people get really scared when they see their stock just go down 10, 15, 18, 20% in a day. And that's what's happened with Air Test Systems. Now, I consider this stock because basically it seems like a really well-run company. It's a niche product and it's in demand. But I won't pay any price for it. That's why I didn't buy it last year and I didn't buy it this year. It's selling for like at least 50 times, price earnings, and that's just way too much in my opinion to pay. Also, it's less than a 1 billion market cap. So, I like to invest in something that's somewhere between at least $1 billion and maybe 5, 6, 7 billion. That kind of small cap. Even when you're getting past 5 billion, you're getting into mid cap stocks. But when you go into the millions, which is where Air Test Systems is, you're talking about a company that's really small. And so they don't have that much extra cash. They don't have the kind of ability to withstand a prolonged recession or a really tough time when people aren't buying their equipment. And, investors can get scared when all of a sudden the profit forecast in the near future gets really dim. And so it's looking like Air Test Systems might have a rocky time in the first quarter, maybe the second quarter of 2024, maybe even through the third and fourth quarter. This whole year could be just a really tough year. So I'm glad I did not buy this stock, because it would have been buying in somewhere between 20 and 30 a share at the time. And now it's much cheaper. I believe it's even in the teens. But a lot of people did buy it. And if you did, I would understand that. But, this is just a caution to anyone thinking of investing, especially in a volatile part of the market like semiconductors, which is you got to be careful about the price you pay. So what am I doing? I'm not planning on buying Air Test Systems. However, I have a list of about 10 other stocks in this sector of the economy that I am buying. And they're all either semiconductor manufacturers, or they're in metrology, or they're in capital equipment, but they're somehow, maybe they're in the inspection part of the universe, but they're somehow related to semiconductor fabrication or the whole process. It's a massive industry. So what I'm doing is actually hoping prices go down over the course of 2024, because I'm going to be buying every month, and I'm going to do this throughout the year. So I know it's kind of counterintuitive, but if you know you're going to be buying something over a long period of time, you actually want the prices to go down. So when you're doing investing right, it's often uncomfortable when you're making purchases, because it's not a rosy outlook. The stock price isn't going up higher and higher and higher. It's usually going down, and you have to be comfortable with buying something as it gets cheaper and cheaper when you have the confidence of your own judgment that you're making a good decision on the company. Air Test Systems, for me, at a 700 million or 800 million market cap, seemed a little bit, didn't have the stability that I want in an investment. So probably not going to be buying it. But if I were to buy this stock, again, not financial advice, I would probably feel more interested in it, or a little bit more comfortable with it in the teens, or at 15 a share, or at 10 a share, than I would buying it at 50 a share. So I am buying other stocks. This video is mainly about Air Test Systems, but I am buying 10 different stocks in this sector. If you're interested in finding out what they are, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be making videos throughout the year. My plan is, I don't know exactly which stocks I'm going to buy each month, but because I have a portfolio of 10, that's my universe. I'm not going to be expanding it or going and finding other things to invest in. What I'm going to do is look at those 10 and see which ones have come down the most in price. If they're selling at a steep discount to what I believe is the true value of the stock, then I will buy. So it's, again, an interesting way of investing, but I'm going to look for the ones that have fallen the most and take that into consideration, among other things, and then decide which ones I'm going to buy. But I will definitely be buying every month, first, second of the month, depending on when the market's open. So if you're interested in following this semiconductor chip journey, then subscribe to the channel. It's great to have you here. And if you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. I will read them, and I will respond to as many as I can. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you in the next video.